Hello and welcome back to my channel. In my last videos on the Radioddity CB-500 I installed power pole connectors and I rotated the display around to have the speaker on top. Today I'm doing something gruesome. I'm cutting off a piece of the radio. Stay tuned. You may remember the empty space in the front of the radio, which is, let me measure it, around about 34 millimeters of space. The only problem is the speaker, which is in the way. If I cut too much, I'm sorry. The speaker is about 36.4 millimeters from the edge here, so that's not possible. But what I can do, I can cut it right here beside these holes. And the good thing is, these screws which are holding the display, they are the same size, and we have the same threads in this hole here. So if I cut it here, or maybe here, let's say, I'm not sure if there's enough space under the display. It should be possible, but I have to try this. So maybe I will cut it here. I think it's better to cut it here, and then mount the display and the cover with the same screws. This should work. Of course, I've also cut a piece off from the bottom and from the top cover. Let's figure it out. First of all, I remove the ribbon cable. Let's remove the display, and yeah, here we go. There's a piece of plastic down here. Maybe you can see it, I'm not sure. It's there and there and there and there, which prevents the frame to get too deep into the display. I mean, there is some space on the left hand side of the display where the connector is, but there's almost no space here. But let me measure the distance from the edge here to the holes, and this is around about 2 millimeters. So let's say if I cut it right here, then the display should fit on here. And of course I have to cut this piece off and that piece, and this should work. The piece I will cut off is about 18 millimeters from this edge to the cut. So these are 18 millimeters. Let's go down to the workshop and cut this piece off. And when I finished the first part, I measure again, and then I decide what to cut off from both covers. Two things I forgot to show you or to tell you. I want to give you a little size comparison. Here is the Radioddity. Here is an Albrecht mobile radio, the AE4400. Here we have another Albrecht CB handheld radio. It's the AE2990 AFS, which is known as the Magnum 1012, I guess it is, in the United States. Here we have a Yaesu VX3 2 meter 70 centimeter handheld, and here is my old Itera PD365 DMR radio, and here is a pen. And I will do the comparison again when I cutted the pieces off. And second thing, which is important to protect everything while cutting, I wrapped the whole radio in plastic. Let's go to the workshop and cut it off. Back in the shack there is a little thing that I overlooked at the beginning. These two holes here for the screws which are holding the top and bottom cover, these are closer together, maybe 1.5–2 millimeters than the holes holding normally the display. So I used a file to widen these two holes just a little bit, and now the display fits, at least, yeah, the holes does fit now. And let me put cover on, and I think I will glue the display in place so it don't move anymore before I start measuring how much I have to cut from the top and from the bottom cover. That's the idea. Before I glue it on, I use a little bit of alcohol. And now I have to make sure the display is in the correct orientation. So the speaker is facing up, and yeah, the display is in its correct position. And then let me put this together here just to align everything, and like so. And then I use a little bit of crazy glue to glue it down to keep it in place. The display is in place. Now let's measure the distance from the back to the front. From here to there, 117.6 millimeters, and on that end here, this side, 117.41. So let's make this 117, maybe 52, 53, and lock it in place. And then I have to measure from the back side to the front. And because this pen does not, it's not very readable on the black surface, I maybe just take my knife and make a tiny little cut here. This is more work than expected. Maybe you can see the lines here. There is one, and there's a second line. But to see it better while cutting, I take this orange electrical tape. If it comes off, it's always the same. And you store them over a longer period of time. They are really, really hard to get off. Here we go. Come on. So, number one. This goes, I cannot see it right now. Do it like so. Yeah, number one. And then down here. On the other end, down here. We will see. If the cut is not straight, folks, then I will, oops, I'm sorry, that was not what I wanted to do. Go. If the cut is not straight, then I will, yeah, cover it with some black electrical tape or something like that. Oh, that's not good. That's not straight. Give it one more try. Here we go. So off camera it worked. After playing around with it a little bit, I have this tape on, and now I can cut along this edge of the tape. So, down to the workshop. Well, not too bad, and it's also straight. Okay, it's a little bit bent, but overall it's not too bad. Back in the shack, and here's the result. Of course, there's some damage on the edges, but overall it's straight. The result would be better, of course, if you have the proper tools, like a bandsaw, which I do not have. Let's remove the screw here, because that's in the way. And let's have a look. Let's try this cover here. Yeah, I've cut it a little bit too much. There is a gap right now, but overall it doesn't look too bad. Let's have a look onto the other side. Yep, working. This is still a little bit bent out here. Maybe I have to file a little bit of metal off here, because I had to flatten that part here. It was coming out here a little bit, so I have to file this part here a little bit to flatten it down, and then it will fit. So give me a second. Yeah, now it fits, but this is not a straight line here because of the cutting. But hey, I mean, yeah, I will mask this a little bit and cover it with a black electrical tape, and then it will look nice again. Let's screw everything together, and I have to put the flat ribbon cable also in again. Before I screw it together, I will give it a try. Let's connect the battery, and let me turn it on, and it's still working. Woohoo! Let me show you a little trick. Let's say you have a nice old radio and you have some scratches in the paint. Buy one of these outdoor markers by adding, and then simply paint over it, and the scratches should disappear more or less. Of course, it does not look perfect. Okay, that's fine. And then I use black electrical tape to make it look nice again. How about this? Like so. Yeah, much better. And over to this side. I would say I cut it here. Where's my knife? Okay, that's not very sharp anymore. Oh yes, it is. And then let's move on. Straight as possible. And then over to this side, and I would say let's give it one more turn. So, and then I will cut it at the bottom. Like so. Yeah, definitely better. I mean, you can see the electrical tape, but hey, this is way better than with the edges up and on the upper and on the lower side here. This is way better. So here we go. And there's one more thing. I promised to give you another size comparison. Okay, another size comparison. Here is the pen. So now you can see the difference. Here is the CBHT. Here is my Yaesu handheld transceiver. Here is the Hytera. And sorry, here is the Albrecht again. Let me put this aside and let me put the Albrecht next to it. Here we go. Okay folks, that's it for today. As you can see, you can do a lot of crazy things with radios if you are crazy enough like me. Of course, with the proper tools, this will be much easier. But yeah, as I don't have the tools like a bandsaw, yeah, I have to do it my way. And I think at the end, it doesn't look too shabby. That's it for the moment, folks. Thanks for watching. 73. Bye-bye.